here to the main self-cam. There we go. Hey, what's going on, guys? What's happening? It's JJ here. We're here still in LA, post E3 2016. And with me, I got my two dudes from the Koalition.com. We got Mr. Richard Bailey Jr., editor-in-chief of the Koalition.com.
How's it doing, ladies and gentlemen?
And got my boy Gary Swaby, also part of the Koalition.com.
Yo, what's up, people?
What's happening? So just giving everybody a minute that we just get started. I know this is, again, a little bit impromptu, a little bit out of whack or whatnot, but we're going to give you guys my post E3 2016 thoughts. We're going to talk about E3 2016 in general, some of our good stuff, some of our bad stuff, everything that encompasses everything about what we saw this week at the show, and it was pretty insane. So, Rich, why don't you start off? You know, what did you think about this year's show? Was it good, bad, fail, epic win, something?
I thought this year's show was okay. Great content, but I did not like EA, and we will get into that later.
Yeah.
But for the most part, EA and Sony, there was a few issues, but again, we'll discuss that.
Nice, interesting. What about you, Gary? I mean, you had some interesting times here at E3. I mean, tell us what did you think of the show overall?
Overall, you know, show was good this year. I saw some cool stuff.
Trying to adjust the camera towards you.
Yeah, they got to see me. Yeah,
We're over here MacGyvering at people, so bear with us. It's in the hotel room, just out of whack. So.
Yeah, you know, there were disappointments, you know, this year, but ultimately I really enjoyed the show, and I did see some cool stuff, and I got a lot to write about, so that's the most important thing.
Nice.
So, yeah.
That's pretty cool. So I guess let's start off with like some of our favorite picks, like our top 3 picks that we saw throughout the week. I mean, we talked about it extensively, like off camera and whatnot, but like for everybody that's listening in and stuff, you know, let's talk about this. So Gary, let's start off with you because Rich is gonna go take care of some stuff over there. But who's in here? We got Katie on that. What's up? Welcome to the stream. What's happening?
What's up, Katie?
What's up, Katie? See you in there lurking in the stream or whatnot. We're gonna have some more people probably joining us soon or whatnot. We got Edo Ninja Storm HD, my boy. Welcome to the stream, son. I'm over here in LA right now. Tell everybody about the stream. Don't forget, guys, hit the follow button if you haven't already done so. Please tell everybody about the stream. Again, we're giving our post E3 2016 thoughts. So, Gary, talk to me. What top 3 things you saw at E3 that really kind of resonated with you? Go ahead.
Okay, so the top 3 things, is this including stuff I didn't play or just stuff I did play?
For the sake of argument, let's start off with what you played, and then we'll talk about the stuff that you didn't play. Because, again, guys, we saw stuff that wasn't playable, you know, behind closed doors or looking at trailers or whatnot at the conferences, whatever the case may be like that. But just for argument's sake, what did you see or that you thought was dope?
Okay, so the things that stand out that I played, I'm definitely going to say Agents of Mayhem, which is the Koalition game, the Saints Row guys, because it's a really fun game. Like, it's
just the mic too, so you can hear it, so because I know your voice is low.
It doesn't take itself too seriously, but it's like a real superhero game, and it takes a lot of influences from comics and movies and stuff. So I really like the style of that game. It's really fun and wacky. I had a lot of fun playing it.
You think it's a little bit better than Saints Row, at least from based on what you saw?
I don't know. It's too early for me to say that, but I will say in Saints Row 4, that really was like a superhero game.
Yeah,
like, it wasn't even like at that point. It wasn't even a Saints Row game anymore. It was like something completely different. And this kind of just follows up from that concept. So
pretty interesting.
That's the good thing.
Now, real quick, Luigi Torta, I see you lurking in the stream. Welcome. What's going on? Again, guys, keep telling everybody about the stream right now. Again, impromptu. I understand it's been happening like this all week, but again, we're giving our post E3 2016 thoughts, like what we saw there, some of our favorite stuff. But what was some of the other games you saw that you thought were good?
Okay, definitely For Honor. That game surprised me. You know, it's a real medieval combat type of game.
Absis the King is hosting us live on Twitch. Thanks to my boy. What's happening? Welcome to the Squirtle Squad, boy. So that's Absis. These guys, it's funny too because this is the first time they're really seeing me use the stream like in person and whatnot. So like I kind of caught them off guard. It's like, whoa, what the fuck? Like you got Pokemon showing up and whatever. But anyway, thank you, Absis the King. Thank you, my boy. What's happening? So anyway, continue. Sorry the interruption.
Yeah, For Honor. You know, that game surprised me. I didn't know what to expect from it, and it's hard to even say what kind of genre it is. I mean, I heard some guys say it's hack and slash, but it's not hack and slash in a traditional sense. It's a lot more complicated than that.
Yeah.
So it's something unique. It's something that we don't really see. So that stands out for me as well.
Nice. And final thing that you saw that was dope.
I'm trying to think. There was another one.
Yeah.
Which one did I say when we had breakfast?
What's going on, Absis the King? What's happening? They see Absis the King says hi.
Hey, what's up? How's it going?
What's happening? How you doing? But anyway, what like one final thing that you can think of?
I'll just say Watch Dogs 2. I played Watch Dogs 2.
Nice.
That game was good. You know, it's definitely what the first game should have been. And I really liked the stealth elements they had in there. They had a lot of gadgets and stuff that you could use to get a tactical advantage in the missions and stuff. I played a co-op mission, and I like how that works because it was really seamless. Like, I just saw that other guy walk up to me, and then we initiated like a mission together. Yeah. So I liked how that worked. You know, that was cool. I didn't really like a lot of the parkour stuff. Yeah. Okay. How come you didn't like the parkour? What was the matter with parkour? It felt a bit clunky. Like I tried to jump over some barrier or something, and I ended up jumping off the entire
Is the stream
building.
audio low? Yeah, no, that's just Gary's voice. Gary's voice is mad low, so... Abs is the king saying that you need to holler, son. You need to scream. Like,
I guess we'll have to move this mic around a little bit. But I was just saying that the parkour in Watch Dogs 2, it's really clunky. I was trying to jump over a barrier and ended up jumping off the entire building. So, you know, stuff like that. They need to fine tune it a little bit, I think.
Okay, so, that makes sense. Do you think like it's gonna live up to the hype of like at least you know what people are thinking about it? You know, because there was a lot of trailer stuff leading up to it. It got leaked out, which is crazy. Or what? Do you think it's gonna live up to the hype or no?
Yeah, I think it's gonna have the Assassin's Creed 2 effect. Like you know, the first Assassin's Creed game, it was good, but there wasn't that much to it. And I think this is the exact same concept with this. This is what the first game should have been pretty much, and I think it will live up to the hype. I think it's worth a play. Yeah. I think it's worth playing, but you know, it's not for everybody, I guess.
That's true. That's a good point. So let's switch over gears to get Rich in here. Get my boy Rich in here, and then because we're gonna go back to Gary in just a bit to talk about some bad stuff or whatnot. So Rich, talk to me about some of the stuff that you thought was good about E3 2016, like some of your best games, your top 3.
Okay, so I got a chance to play Dead Rising 4. Pretty much your average Dead Rising game. You know, you have Frank West back. Yeah. They have a few new things in there where they actually have a mech suit that you can find in the game. Once you find that, you have access to different types of weapons than you would have if you didn't have the suit. So, and then of course they have the thing where you could take a selfie at any particular time in the game. It doesn't matter if you're blowing up a whole bunch of stuff. You can just stop, take a selfie, and that's pretty much it. I mean, there wasn't really too much that I was able to see in the demo that I did play.
Really quickly, Katie, I'm definitely going to talk about that in just a bit, because since we're talking about Dead Rising 4, she asked me if I went to the Capcom booth, and I did. Yes, I did, and I'll tell you about some of the stuff in just a bit, what I saw there, but continue, Rich.
Oh, yeah, so outside of that, yeah, Dead Rising looks great. I would like to make the news official, for those of you who didn't hear yet.
Oh, here we go.
It is exclusive to Xbox One for a year, so that means it's more than likely going to come to PS4 next year.
Kind of like Tomb Raider a little bit. Tomb Raider was on Xbox One for a time. Now it's coming to PlayStation 4. Yeah. Eventually.
That was a great game. The comment that was just left is right on the money as well.
Luigi Torto, my boy.
Yes. South Park, for me was the game of the show.
Really?
Hands down, it was the
best
game of the show. I would say it was the best Ubisoft game, but I would also say it is the best game at the show because they've captured everything that you loved about the first game. They've made improvements to the exploration, the interactive discussions, and of course, they have the whole superhero element now that they've made the focal point. Basically, you know, looking at stuff like Civil War, they took inspiration and made jokes, and hey, what I saw so far from that is fantastic. So that is coming out also later this year. Ironically, it's coming out the exact same day as Dead Rising, December 6th.
So you got decisions to make, people. Yeah. We're going to get to Zelda in just a bit, guys. So just bear with me here. But one more final game that you saw that was dope?
Let me see. One more final game.
Best thing that you saw. Because you say South Park's your best in show. Okay, so we got that. But what other final game that you thought was like really interesting that you thought made a good show, had a good presence at E3 this year?
Man, I would have to say it's difficult.
Because it's hard.
Because, it's a lot of stuff you can't play. There wasn't a lot of stuff that you was able to play.
A lot of offhand presentations.
Yeah, for the most part. A lot of those type of presentations. I am looking forward to a lot of the Sony games they showed, like Days Gone. Of course, God of War, even though I have a lot of questions about what's up with that game.
Yeah, me too.
But I would have to say, if I have to throw another in there that's worth mentioning, I want to say that I was a little bit impressed with Gears of War 4.
Really?
Because the demo that they showed behind closed doors, it was not what you saw at the E3.
It was different.
It was totally different.
Okay.
They showed the creature that they had shown in last year's
demo.
In last year's demo presentation, you actually fought that creature in this one.
Okay, so it was actually a full-fledged fight.
Yeah, yeah. It was a full-fledged fight. You know, you got to see a little bit more of the story elements.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely interested in the game. It definitely, to me, it feels like it's a classic Gears game. But with that said, still want to see a whole bunch more of it before I would say, yeah, it's absolutely a must buy. But I'm definitely more hype on it than I was before I came to E3.
Nice. Nice. Now, for me, to be honest with you guys, again, you guys talked about it in chat already. Zelda Breath of the Wild. I thought it was pretty interesting. It's probably the most unique game that I saw this year at the showroom floor. And again, that could be saying a lot, that could be saying a little, depending on your perspective of stuff. I thought that it's challenging a lot of the conventions of Zelda, you know, as a series, as a franchise, you know, not having rupees, not having hearts that you get out of, like, you know, bushes or whatnot, getting food to replace your health, the ambient sound. There is no, like, Zelda overworld theme, like a jingle. Like, you know how, like, every Zelda game has, like, that jingle or something that you're listening to as you're roaming around the entire area and stuff? Like, there isn't that. That's not the case this time. There's a lot more ambient sound. That there's very subtle music here and there, but like for the most part, you're hearing the wind, you're hearing the trees like rustle around, you're hearing the different animals in the environment. You know, when you're hunting boars and stuff, you know, you're hearing those types of sounds as they are related to you, the enemies, the moblins, you know, all that type of stuff or whatnot, or even just the echo of like a cavern, you know, that's nearby. You know, there's little things like that I thought were pretty good. You can finally jump after 30 plus years now. You can manually jump in a Zelda game, which I think is funny, but it changes up a lot. It's different stuff and when you approach different situations in the game, whether you're trying to go from point A to point B, trying to fight different enemies, or trying to solve a puzzle. I think that's a big deal, especially for the series itself. Besides that, I thought that, you know, just the presentation was awesome. I mean, granted, it looks a little bit dated, you know, compared to a lot of other stuff that's out there. A lot of people comparing it. I saw Tim Geddes comparing it to Horizon Zero Dawn, which I think is it's okay. Okay comparison, a little bit, you know, stylized or whatnot. Obviously, Horizon Zero Dawn is on a whole another level when it comes to like how good it looks. But Zelda, I thought it was pretty interesting. Okay, now some of the other games I thought were good. I got to play Bloodstained. Bloodstained's Ritual of the Night was awesome. Okay, I got to see Ego there, which was pretty cool. Very basic demo, but it's classic Castlevania. I thought that was awesome. I thought it was really cool. I thought it was fun, whatnot. And finally, the other good one that I have to say that it was like really interesting, you know, I had a good time playing or whatnot, was Gravity Rush 2. I like Gravity Rush 2. Now, there was other games I played and stuff, but Gravity Rush 2 I felt was, you know, solid in its presentation. It had a lot of fun moments and whatnot. Still a little bit rough around the edges, a couple little frame drops and other things here and there, but it still looked good for the most part or whatnot. So now the chat is kind of going crazy. They have a couple stuff that you guys might want to comment on. Death Stranding. Okay.
Yeah.
Death Stranding took everybody by surprise. I think that was kind of cool or whatnot. What did you think of that, Gary?
I mean, I think it's, you know, it's cool to see something, because I know Kojima, you know, he just started working with his new studio and stuff, so
Kojima's hard at work.
He probably doesn't have too much he can show right now, so that was a really good put together, you know, cinematic for us to see right now, just to get an idea of what he's working on. He's working with the Norman Reedus. Norman Reedus. Yeah, so it's good to see that he's working with him again.
I was expecting him to come out with Guillermo del Toro, talk about, hey, guess what, guys, it's time.
Yeah.
I heard you like PT, so I got this for you.
Yeah. But I mean, you know, it's something to keep people talking, and that's what they need right now. So, but it was great to see Kojima again. That, you know, that's the main thing.
Now, Days Gone was the other one that took a lot of people by surprise.
Man,
the Sony Ben's studio. Yeah. They've been hard at work for years, and apparently the word is that that's not going to be done anytime soon, not even in 2017. Like that's far off, according to what some people have been saying. But what did you think of Days Gone?
Yeah, I think it looks really great. Like that, you know, whole sequence they had, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
But me personally, I'm so tired of zombie games at this point. So, you know, I'm not as excited as everyone else is for that game. Now it does look good.
Now, apparently, one of the things that came out about that is that those aren't zombies. They're actually alive. Like, those are actual people, but they're affected by some sort of virus, which kind of makes them act like zombies. Okay. But they are alive. They have to eat, sleep, and do whatever. but it's not in that same traditional sense of like a zombie game is like, oh, like a million bullets take out of one. I did like when the guy in the demo was shooting all those people coming out and whatnot, he was spraying and praying, but those zombies were still getting hit and they were dying. Right. Whatnot. It's not like traditional zombie or whatnot. Like knowing that now, does that change your perception of it?
Not really, because it's still the same old stuff to me. It's very much like Last of Us. So it's a concept we've seen before. Now,
another comment I see in the chat by Absis the King when I talked about Pokemon Sun and Moon. There wasn't really, during the Nintendo Treehouse presentation, I can't say, they didn't really talk about a lot of stuff other than really keeping the focus on Zelda. They did talk about that game. They talked about Tokyo Mirage Sessions. They talked about Monster and Generations. That was there in some capacity, but they weren't playable at Nintendo's floor. The entire Nintendo booth was straight up just, devoted to Zelda and whatnot. So, Absence the King says, oh, by the way, I heard from a friend who was at E3 that Elder Scrolls 6 is officially in development, and according to Todd Howard, it's a long ways off. Any thoughts about that? Well, yeah. I didn't hear anything. Did you hear anything about that?
Yeah, I did hear that, and I believe that is true. I think take as long as they want, I think. They should take as long as they want, because those games are so massive, and you saw what they did with Fallout 4. Fallout 4 was amazing. So I want them to take as much time as they need to perfect the Elder Scrolls 6, because that game, when these games come out, like, you can literally play them for years anyway. Yeah. So yeah, they should just take as long as they want with that. I know everyone was expecting or hoping for an announcement this year, but when they do announce it, I want them to do what they did with Fallout and announce it, and then it comes out that very same year.
That'd be awesome. So, I mean, we did get Skyrim HD. Pretty much for the current gen consoles, for PS4, Xbox One, PC. That's cool. I think a lot of us out here love Elder Scrolls Skyrim or whatnot. So I'm pretty sure we're going to be busy by the time that gets done. So it just keeps us busy. And plus, also, we got all this other stuff. Doom VR, apparently. We also got, Fallout 4 Fallout VR. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff there that they've been doing, especially with the VR support one. And also, Quake Champions. They announced Quake, which sounds like it's going to be awesome. And what was the other? Dishonored 2. And Prey, that was totally unexpected. Did you expect that? Like, that was random as hell.
That was awesome.
It was pretty damn dope. Like, it was really weird.
I do want to say one thing to Bethesda, though. I love you guys. I love all your games. But please don't leave me standing outside again.
So, let's talk about this. So, you guys in chat, you guys are going to get a treat, right? About what we're going to talk about now. So, I want to give you guys some story stuff. So, I'll give you guys some I'll let you guys talk because mine's a little bit long. So, Rich, tell me about some of your, some of the things about E3 2016 that you did not like. Now, it could be games, be whatever, because there was some crazy stuff that happened to all of us practically throughout the entire show. So, Rich, take the mic. Let me know what's up.
Okay, so one of the biggest things with E3, and it's an issue that has been going on for several years, is that, when this event started out, it was more geared towards a lot more business oriented. Now it's more so about getting other people into the event, not so much just press. We've experienced that firsthand because this year, of course, we were invited as press to attend the EA press conference. We got to the press conference early. They had a line. Okay, we waited in line.
A big ass line. Let me. I cannot stress the size and the length of this line. I mean, that sounds wrong, but still, like, it was huge.
Yeah, and we had that line we had to deal with. Once we got to the front of the line, we had to go into another line. We had already got everything, our badges, everything. We walked, so we get to the other line. Right in the middle of the line, they then tell us, well, we've actually run out of space, so all of you are going to have to watch the stream.
Which was not cool.
And the thing about it is that, as press, you're supposed to be able to get into this stuff because a lot of people who attend these events, they have no intention of writing or talking about any of this stuff.
They're just there. Just there.
But our job is to specifically cover stuff. So for that reason, we did not get to see the EA press conference. We've also had appointments with EA in which we had issues, and JJ will talk about his story.
I'll get to that in a minute, but it's like...
Yeah, but we've had issues with that, and what Gary was referring to with Bethesda is that...
So Gary, let me give you the mic. Tell everybody what happened with Bethesda, because I heard just bits and pieces of this.
Right. So, I mean, you know, Richard was actually confirmed to be at that press conference, which is cool. But they said they'd have a standby line as well for people who want to get in, which is cool as well. So, you know, I went over there with Rich, hoping to possibly get in on a standby line. I knew I would have to, you know, wait in line and probably wait a long time. I knew that. I was already prepared for that when I went over there. But the problem is, you know, there was mad people there, and they knew, because they had two lines. They had the lines for the people that was confirmed and the line for the standby line for people just wanting to get in. But they knew, like, way ahead of time, they wouldn't be able to fit a lot of the standby line in. But they just let people wait there.
Yeah, they made people just hang there, which I think is kind of rude.
Yeah, they could have at least said ahead of time, like, because we was waiting, like an hour, 90 minutes or something.
Hour and change?
The whole presentation.
The whole presentation. So how long was that? Was it about 2 hours?
Before the show started, we were still waiting a long time too. And they knew then that a lot.
About an hour and a half, 2 hours, roughly?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Like around 2 hours or something. They knew then that people wasn't going to be able to get in. So they could have at least had the courtesy to tell some of these people, like, or tell us all that, you know, it's likely that you guys aren't going to get in. But they gave us a false sense of, you know, of hope that we might actually get in when they knew that we wasn't getting in. So, but then when the conference finished, they let everyone in to play games and stuff. So that was cool, because then at least you could get food and stuff. But there was a lot of people there who were disappointed and upset and frustrated.
Let me add one other thing to that.
Yeah.
They did announce earlier on that Blink 182 was going to be performing.
I don't remember Blink 182 being there. But did that happen?
Oh, yeah. That did happen.
Okay.
And that was the reason why that line was more ridiculous. Because
everybody's seeing Blink 182.
Yeah. So. I saw people camped out with Blink 182, you know, signs and everything else.
It's a rock concert.
They wasn't there. They wasn't there for the game. They said, screw the games. I'm here to see Blink 182. So that's what the issue is with that, because you had people that was in that line that didn't really give a damn about the games. They were there to see these guys.
Wow. So let me tell you guys what happened to me, right? And it was pretty bad. Now, I'll preface this saying that, but EA knows who we are.
Yeah.
EA knows me also specifically, because I was quoted on their promo material for Mirror's Edge Catalyst. Now, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, I wrote the review for Mirror's Edge Catalyst on the Koalition.com. You guys can find it right now, so I encourage you to go there and read it and stuff. But prior to that, I wrote a preview of it all the way back from New York Comic Con last year. And I saw the game, talked about it. They said, hey, this is awesome. They used one of my quotes for the marketing material. So they know who we are, per se, right? So after the debacle with the press conference for EA's press conference and EA Access happened, you know, we had an appointment for later on in the day. Now, you guys went to go to Bethesda, I remember, or whatnot, because you went to go there early to try to get online and stuff. I decided, you know what, I'm going to go do a couple of things, and then I'm going to go straight to EA, because this is our appointment. We got to see Battlefield 1. We got to see Titanfall 2. Okay, cool. So I go over there, right? Show them my confirmation and such, like, hey, listen, I'm here to see these games, here to play them, got some stuff to do, what's up? So they made me wait, like, almost over an hour. Like, give or take, they had this back and forth, right, with me, and basically saying, like, you know, you have to go to this line over here, this is what this confirmation is for, to go wait on this long-ass line and stuff. It was a giant-ass line of a bunch of people that had regular attendee badges, which is just exhibitors badges, not media and stuff. And it was long. It stretched down the LA Live, section and stuff. And I'm like, there's no way I'm waiting in there for that long. When I'm here, I'm supposed to be playing these games now. And they kept saying, like, no. And there was some mad loud cars. But I told them, they told me basically, it's like, no, this is for you to wait in line to get inside, to wait in line again to possibly play these games, basically. That's the gist of what they said. They didn't say it exactly like that, but that's what basically they were saying, that you have to get on a standby line. I remember telling you guys this, and I was like super pissed about it, because I had, we had this appointment this time set aside to go play Battlefield 1 and Titanfall 2 so we could do content for on the site. We could talk about it on our podcast or whatnot, and all our discussions, maybe write about it and such. And I didn't get to play those games at all. What they did is that they talked to me for a bit, said, like, hey, give us like 10 minutes. We'll go upstairs, talk to the person in charge, see if we can get you inside. I'm like, okay, fine. Okay. Because at this point I was already done. I was ready to roll out. And I was like, okay, 10 minutes, not too bad. These people made me wait outside for almost 45 minutes to an hour, did not go on, or did not, you know, come back to me and get me inside the actual building to play these games. At this point right now, again, you guys, my audience, you guys don't know them as much, but what is it? My friend Skyward Wing, okay, Noel and Skyward Wing, and Umbrella Dispatch, HMK's friend, found me in the middle of LA Live, and they were asking like, hey, what are you doing right here? And I'm like, you know what? I'm about ready to go. I'm done because I'm been standing out here for so long. Supposed to be playing these games right now, wasn't happening. I was like, you know what? Screw it. Like, I'm done. I'm finished. So I just left. I told them, listen, you guys made me wait here so long. I wanted to actually check out these games. You guys screwed us out over the press conferences because of all these people when we had media badges. And apparently we were supposed to get badges that said EA on them, which I guess they were giving out to some media or whatnot, but we never got those despite us being invited to go to the press conference. Like, it was absolutely insane. Like, so at that point I was done. Like, no EA content, no EA gameplay or whatnot. I didn't get to play Titanfall 2, and I was looking forward to that. I know you wanted to play Battlefield 1, Gary.
Oh, yeah, I wanted to. Like, I'm a huge Battlefield head, so I'm disappointed that I didn't even get to try out. I didn't get into the press conference, and I didn't get to play the game. So, I'm a bit gutted about that.
Yeah, I was annoyed, and the thing was, we wanted to do this stuff, and we couldn't do it. I was going to give you guys impressions when I got back about some of these games, and I couldn't do it. So I was like, okay, you know what? Fine. If I want to talk about these games and EA is not going to make it easy for us to actually talk about them, or at least, get us there to actually do our jobs, then fine. Then we'll go talk about something else. 1S2K Clan has now hit that follow button. Thanks you. Welcome to the chat fam, son. Welcome to the chat fam. This is our E3 post event thoughts. If you're just joining us now, we'll get some shout outs to everybody in the chat very soon. But a couple of the things I want to talk about, and you touched upon them a little bit, Rich, okay? Some of the stuff that went down during E3 where there was just way too many people that were just there. And that's one of the things that we were probably going to talk about eventually on the co-op or whatnot, where I feel like, there were so many people that were just there and made our jobs more difficult. And it was more because of the fact that we weren't able to make appointments to go see games. We were trying to get online to play some of these games, and the lines were like 2 or 3 hours long. It was ridiculous. When I waited for Zelda, right, and I told you this, I was online for Zelda for about over an hour and a half to 2 hours, okay, in the first day of E3. And lucky enough, I got inside with the whole grouping. I was actually able to play Zelda, and I have a preview written up on the Koalition.com now, which you could find there. But some people that I know personally that, that are part of the media or just at the event or whatnot, they waited in line for almost 4 hours plus. And Nintendo, being the geniuses that they were, at some point even closed up the line to get in line to play Zelda. And it was like a lot of people that I know in the media did not get to play Zelda whatsoever. And, that was one of the biggest games or big ones that everybody wanted to play and do content for, And it was even more crazy beyond me is that, I'm a Nintendo brand ambassador, and we tried to do content there to actually check out this game or whatnot, and it was difficult to do so. You couldn't even make appointments to go see Zelda whatsoever, let alone like anything else that they might have had there, or at least speak to somebody from Nintendo. So that was like a real pain in the butt. But overall, it really affected the entire event in both the South and the West Hall, with games and stuff. Like, tell everybody some of your experience, Rich, about, walking around and trying to play games there with all those crazy crowds.
Well, let me go ahead and say this. I'm aware that a pass to get into E3 costs about $1,000. I understand there are a lot of people that are willing to pay that money. I saw families of 4 with little kids at the show, and I thought to myself, there is an age limit, but they were still there. The issue is not so much that, I think anyone that pays to go to these events, they can do what they want to do, but I still think you need to have some type of priority, because a lot of the bigger sites, the people who actually do this for a living, they should be entitled to get access to certain things that others can't get access, or at the very least get moved up ahead in the
priority
line.
Basically.
Yeah, because
crazy.
Again, most of the people who see this stuff, they're just going to see this stuff. They may not even buy the product. Whereas as people who actually cover the stuff, we are in a position where we can write and talk about a product and get people interested in it.
Yeah.
Which is why we need to see the stuff to get people interested in it and potentially help sell some copies.
At least inform all you guys that are in chat, or inform everybody that's part of the, that follows the Koalition content, follows YouTube content. It's into gaming like that, the general consumer. You guys need to be informed about these games. And then the only way we could do our jobs in order to fulfill that is if we actually see them or we actually play them. Stuff that happens like with EA kind of contradicts that and kind of, does the opposite or whatnot. But Gary, any comment about what went down, any bad experiences you had throughout this event besides Bethesda that you mentioned?
Yeah, I want to echo everything Rich said. But I also want to say that, I think a lot of these problems are down to the fact that, both these companies like EA and even the ESA and E3, it's like they just want to market their games directly towards the consumer now, and that's why they're letting in a lot of, just general public into these events now instead of trying to cater to the press. But the thing is, the media is important because we're the ones that are going to give you, the honest take on these games. We're going to give you the specifics. Whereas if you get that information directly from, the publishers and everything, they're going to tell you what they want to tell you. So you need the media there to give you that honest take and to let you know what you're buying into with these games. But it seems like they're just trying to cut us out and go and market directly to the consumer, and I think that's a bad thing if they continue down that path. So hopefully next year, we actually completed a survey on this stuff. The survey asked a lot of things about, how E3 should be, whether it should be more business focused or consumer friendly or whatever.
Yeah,
so
I remember that.
we gave a lot of tips to them and stuff on that survey. So we'll see if it improves next year, because you need a healthy balance, of direct marketing towards the consumer and the media too, because the media is very important. So yeah, that's my take on that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, again, with both of you guys, E3 is not Comic-Con. I think that was one of the things that I said to both of you guys, and one of the things I said to a couple other people. E3 is not Comic-Con. It shouldn't be a place where you go and you're cosplaying like that just because you're there or whatnot, which is cool. There's a time and place for it, and I understand it. I have no problem with cosplaying in an event. I have no problem going to an event just to have fun or whatnot. But E3 is an expo. It's a business expo. It's, there's retailers there. There's a lot of different people there. Shadow Wolf 7490 has hit that follow button. Welcome to the chat, fam, son. Yeah, let's go. But it's not one of those events. It's not a convention. It's an expo. It's a place where a lot of business people go. It's a lot of places where the media and the press has that open access to finally talk to some of these publishers and these developers about their games. We get a little bit of that too at other events like Comic-Con, like PAX and stuff, and there is places like that. But E3 is really one of those places where we get those big announcements, those really big news times, and those moments where we actually get to play these games that we'll be seeing over the next year and stuff, and actually get to ask those questions that everybody wants to know about. That's really important and stuff. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say what I'm really disappointed about is I didn't even really get to play any Xbox and Sony stuff at all.
Oh yeah, let's get into that, dude. Because let's be real for a second. There were games like let me tell you something. One of the games I wanted to play was ReCore, and I told you guys that ReCore after that Microsoft press conference, I was like, yo, I'm in. Let me go play this at the actual floor, and it was playable there. The problem was the line for this thing was straight down from that specific area all the way down. And Shadow Wolf 7490. I'm gonna actually talk about Kingdom Hearts in just a bit, but bear with me for a second. I'm gonna get to that in just a second because that's another story too. So the line for ReCore was from the kiosk, which they had about 6, 7 kiosks, there to play or whatnot that people could get on and play on Xbox One. However, the line was so huge it stretched all the way down the hall around the booth, okay, just to get online for this. And I think it had to do not only just with the game or whatnot, or just the t-shirt that they were giving away and stuff, okay? But I'm going to talk about Kingdom Hearts in just a bit. But Rich, any other crazy stories? Because I played some more stuff in the in the PlayStation section than I did in the Microsoft section and other areas, third party. But what about you?
Well, speaking of the PlayStation section in particular, Sony had this thing this year where they had an app that you had to use to schedule appointments. No one knew about this prior to the show. This was just something that came out of nowhere. And so that made it a hassle for everybody to jump on there at the same time, try and schedule and stuff. So that kind of backed up a lot of things. I know I wanted. There was a lot of games I wanted to try out. I wanted to try out Horizon. Didn't get a chance to try that out.
Yeah, I wanted to try Horizon too. Couldn't do it.
And that all came down to, whenever you go up to them, they ask, well, do you have an appointment? No. Well, you can make an appointment in the app.
Yeah, they got this PlayStation app. It's called the Experience PlayStation, right? And it was so that way you could actually make appointments for VR, for any of the playable demos that they had there at their booth or whatnot. But it was completely freaking useless because it was all filled up. It was crazy. Okay, and same thing, Katie. I'm gonna talk about FF15 in just a bit because Gary, you also played FF15, so we'll get to that in just a second. But Rich, continue.
Yeah, so I mean that again, goes back to what was said earlier about I would hope that the media would have better access to this type of things. I know quite a bit of people that were able to play Zelda. They were not able to play any PlayStation games, and the funny thing about it is that PlayStation, they had a lot of games on the floor, but the games you wanted to see, even the presentations, such as the behind closed doors God of War, where you can see more of the extended cut of what you saw at E3.
Yeah.
Even that stuff you couldn't get into. So it's like, yeah, it was just overkill with the amount of people that was there. Again, as I said earlier, I can understand if someone purchases a ticket, they are entitled to see whatever they want to see. I'm not saying they don't need to see anything, but the media who are there, specifically as media, press outlets, they need to have some type of priority in covering this, because their whole job is to cover this stuff. So it just would defeat the purpose to go to an event and then not being able to see or cover any of this stuff for the people who visit your website. So
or write about your games and stuff.
Yeah.
What is it? But even so, I think that also goes double for the publishers that are there. You know, just making a point, just talking to them. Because remember, I even was telling Gary about it when I went to Square Enix, like that, just to go talk to them and try to see if maybe I could make an appointment or even talk about some of the games there, get hands-on time with specific ones. They were just very cold, and I think that has nothing to do with us, because again, we've written about Square Enix games tons of times. We've worked with them and talked to them and whatnot, you know, and their PR and stuff. But when it comes to, you know, I guess the people or whatnot, when they were there, they were probably dealing with so many people probably just coming up to them that, you know, you get tired after a while. You get annoyed, especially when it's just people that either don't know or just, you know, they're constantly there. Again, they're not there as media. They're just there as people. And that's fine, but I don't think E3 is for that. E3 should go back to just being a media event. And even then, I feel like, you know, a lot of that is a lot more complicated because it has to deal with the relevancy of the event, you know, because EA and Activision weren't there, Disney wasn't there, Wargaming wasn't there, you know, a lot of these different places weren't there. So there's other things that they have to think about and stuff that probably comes into account with that. But for us, from our perspective and from my perspective, I feel like, again, it was a big deal to not be able to play these games. And that really sucked because you guys lose out. I mean, we lose out, but you guys lose out on it more when we can't tell you about some of these games. So you guys are either going to buy something blind or you have to wait in order for us to play it or whatnot. It's not just us, but all media outlets, you know, even big outlets, you know, they dealt with some stuff like that. It happened. I remember last year when Battlefront came out, the line was just too huge that people couldn't get to their appointments. It was insane. But let's talk about some of the stuff that they keep mentioning in the chat. So Gary, tell me a little bit about your time with Final Fantasy 15, and then we'll get into some Kingdom Hearts stuff. Like, you played Final Fantasy 15's new demo that Microsoft showed off. What's up?
Yeah, it was the same demo from the Microsoft conference where you got to fight the Titan, who becomes a summon later. You know, you got to fight him and beat him, and then he becomes a summon. But me personally, I feel like this wasn't the best demo to show both at Microsoft and on the show floor.
Yeah.
I mean, like you mentioned earlier, we talked about this at breakfast. It was a bit glitchy because we kept getting stuck inside the Titan's
I got
hand.
stuck inside the Titan's arm and hand while I was playing it. Now, again, I was playing on PlayStation 4. Which platform did you play it on?
Yeah, I played on PlayStation 4.
You played on PlayStation 4. So the one they showed during the conference obviously was on Xbox One, but I'm pretty sure it's the same thing. Yeah. And I will say the PlayStation 4 one looks moderately better than the Xbox One version. Again,
it does.
Very minutely.
Yeah, it's better optimized for the PlayStation 4. But yeah, I don't know if you had problems with the camera too, like the camera pans and
just
stuff.
the moving around, you know, when stuff was happening, when the Titan would come down and slash, like it would get into these weird camera angles where I would try to, you know, refocus, reorient myself because I'm going this way and my camera's facing that way, you know, because the Titan's arm is coming this way. I wanted to turn it, be able just to avoid it, or at least, you know, do something else, focus on something else like enemies or whatever. And it was a little bit annoying with that regard. I will say one thing though. Music is on point.
Yeah, they're always on point with the music.
Effects is on point. It looks dope, you know, especially when he cast Blizzaga. I thought that looked dope, you know, to end off the fight. Now, again, I feel like that was scripted because I didn't really do a lot of damage to the Titan, and I still killed it. Yeah, it was pretty insane. Yeah. Now, what did you think of like some of the team attacks or whatnot that they showed in the Microsoft conference and also in the demo? Because I saw the ones with a couple of Noctis's like, you know, boys that was with them like that, where they did some team attacks and such.
Yeah, I also got some other stuff to say, but yeah, as far as the teamwork and stuff, I really like how it feels like you're playing a multiplayer game when it's really just AIs, and that's the feel they were going for. Because I actually got a presentation from the director Tabata as well.
Hajime Tabata. So you saw him then?
Yeah, I saw him.
Yeah.
So yeah, he explained a lot of this. This is what they were going for. They wanted it to feel like a multiplayer experience. They wanted it to feel like you're traveling. You know, they wanted it to feel like a real road trip. And I think they definitely captured that. And also, in the presentation that Tabata had, he showed that they actually have an ATB mode. So you have a choice. You could either play full real-time combat, or you can have the ATB turned on, so if you prefer that style of gameplay. So I'm definitely going to do that. It's called wait mode.
Yeah.
So you have to turn on wait mode, and then it's like an ATB as usual. So.
Now, that's pretty cool. Again, if you guys don't know what ATB is, again, if you're not into Final Fantasy like that, ATB is active time battle, basically. Yeah. And pretty much wait mode is, again, kind of turn-based type of mode, where it's more passive, along the same lines as Final Fantasy 13, at least the way that they explained it, or at least, what I was told and stuff. Yeah. Now, one of the questions that we got from Absis the King 2K14, he asked about the Final Fantasy 15 having VR. Now, I wanted to try this out because I wanted to see it. I couldn't because I couldn't even make an appointment. Yeah. From people that I know that actually checked it out, they said it was kind of throwaway. Now, based on what you saw, at least what they were talking about, what did you think of that?
Yeah, I've been hearing the same stuff. People who did try it, they said, it's like it's slapped on basically. It's a throwaway.
You're playing as Pronto in VR, and it's like, okay.
I mean, I don't think it's going to be the whole game. It's probably just like certain battles, or maybe it's a battle arena or something that you can play in VR. I would actually like to try it just to see what it's like.
Yeah, me too.
But I don't know. I'm not hearing great stuff about it, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay, I guess. I mean, the one thing I did think about that might be the same, but I heard is actually really good is Batman Arkham VR. Oh yeah. I want to try that too, and I wasn't able to do so because again, so many people stuff. Yeah. But I feel like in games like Final Fantasy 15, it doesn't need VR. It doesn't really need it unless there's a significant thing like walking around the entire area of like that map and stuff. If it's like that, that sounds dope. And again, we don't know because we didn't try it. But from the sounds of it, it's just looking very mediocre right now. So let's talk about Kingdom Hearts. Okay, let's talk about Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8. Now, did you get a chance to play it?
I didn't play that, no.
Okay, so you saw some of the stuff that was on the booth, right?
Yeah,
like you walked by it. They had HD, was it Dream Drop Distance, part of the 2.8 collection. They also had Birth by Sleep 02, okay, which is the one that stars Aqua from Birth by Sleep. So my initial impressions of that, okay, I spent a lot more time playing Birth by Sleep 0.2, okay, Fragmentary Passage, than I did with Dream Drop Distance HD. What I will say about Dream Drop Distance is that it looks good in HD and 60 frames per second. It looks good as far as cleaned up. It looks fast, and I think some of the boss fights might be harder because of that, because you're seeing it in 60 frames per second, and we're usually seeing Kingdom Hearts in like 30 frames or 24 frames per second. As far as Birth by Sleep 02, okay, the Kingdom shader looks good. That's the Kingdom Hearts 3 like textures and the way it looks and stuff, the visuals. That looks cool. I think it looks nice. I think it's going to look gorgeous when we finally get Kingdom Hearts 3. Plays exactly like Birth by Sleep. I don't think there was really much difference there, with the exception of a few things where the styles, the Spell Reaver style and whatnot, it gets built up by a meter from the different type of attacks that you do, magic and regular physical attacks. The enemies look dope. The new enemies that were there is pretty awesome. The Swarm. If you saw that swarm there from the original Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer, that's actually, you fight that. Okay, really? You actually fight that. Okay. And it's pretty interesting the way that the fight goes, because it's like a giant like tube of Heartless and attacks you viciously. Their eyes glow red when they get really mad and stuff. And as you attack them, you could scatter them or whatnot. It was kind of like the boss fight of that section, which really wasn't really a boss fight, because in the demo that we played, it wasn't a complete thing. But it did look awesome as far as, like, again, what you could do. Basically, in the demo, where you're at is that you're in the Castle of Dreams area, which is Cinderella's castle from Birth by Sleep. Right. And basically, you're trying to hit these gears in order to turn back time, in order to repair this bridge that leads to the castle. So you go through different areas, learning some of the different abilities and stuff. And as you hit each gear, you gain new abilities, that they show you and stuff. And it's pretty simple, straightforward. Again, we were looking at this game for the visuals, see how it runs. There were some frame rate issues. I will wasn't mention that. There are a couple friends of mine that said the exact same thing when they were playing it, like, frame dips and stuff. Because a lot happening on the screen, and I think it's still early for that demo, whatnot. But it was still fun and interesting to check out. I'm liking what I see so far. It's a good foundation overall. Right. Like, do you have any hopes for Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8?
No, I mean, I'm not hugely experienced with Kingdom Hearts. I've been trying to get into it though, because I got the HD stuff that they released on PS3. So I'm hoping they re-release that on PS4.
That's the rumor.
Yeah,
that's the rumor that it might be coming next. So
because I haven't beat any of those games, so I really want to do that and get into it, because it does seem like a dope game. Like I love the look of the world, the aesthetic of the game and everything. So it's something I'm looking to get into. So I definitely want to check out some of the stuff you just talked about.
Me too.
So.
I'm really looking forward to it. Now, as far as Kingdom Hearts 3, they did not talk about Kingdom Hearts 3. It was not here, which is interesting. I'm fully expecting, again, based off that trailer we got for HD 2.8 like not too long ago before E3, we're going to hear something probably at PlayStation Experience. And again, I'm this is going to be JJ is right if this goes down. I swear to God, I think that they're going to announce a Frozen World. It's just more news coming in the winter. It's just a prime setup. And then PlayStation Experience is in the winter. Like, a lot of people keep saying, what is it, Tokyo Game Show? Right. But in the winter, I don't think Tokyo Game Show is, specifically in the winter. It's in the fall. And PlayStation Experience is directly in the winter. It's in December. So that seems ideal. And I don't even think we're going to see that game at Gamescom. To be honest with you. Like, there was a lot of games that you would expect to be there that weren't there. Like, Final Fantasy VII Remake was not there. Yeah. And I think that was kind of a good thing that we didn't get to see that.
That's a good... Because they've got to promote all these other games, too. Like Final Fantasy 15. They got 12, the HD.
That was there, playable. And I didn't play it.
I played that. I played that.
You played it? What'd you think?
I mean, there's not that much to say about it. It's the same game. It's just, obviously, the visuals are updated. I would say 10 was probably a better HD remake.
You think so?
It seems like they did more work on 10 than they did on 12. But
do you know if they said any sort of remixed soundtrack for 12?
I believe there is, yeah.
There is?
Yeah,
okay, so then they're getting the same type of treatment then.
Yeah, and there's also the fast mode thing as well. I don't know if you played Final Fantasy 7 on PS4. But
the speed up time thing, which I think is great.
Yeah, that's great if you want to speed through, the battles and stuff. So that's good.
That's very cool. And also, again, I'm glad that game wasn't there. If Kingdom Hearts 3 wasn't there because again, they have those games they have to talk about. They have their Western games they have to deal with, which is like Deus Ex, Hitman, Tomb Raider, etc. But also keep in mind they also have other games that could probably be coming over the horizon. Dragon Quest. Dragon Quest is right around the corner after all this stuff is done, and that's going to be a big deal, especially in Japan. Like Dragon Quest is one of their big franchises that is again doesn't get that much attention because of things like Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts, but it's still just as important. In other areas of the world, whatnot. So, besides that, OST remixes, asked Katie, and I said, that for Final Fantasy 12.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure there are. Because
for Dream Drop and Kingdom Hearts HD, no, I don't think so.
Right. Oh, okay. That's a shame.
Yeah, which would be dope, but I mean, they already that game is kind of done at this point. They did change up the stuff with the touchpad or whatnot, so you don't use like a touchpad like in the 3DS, you use buttons, and that's more ideal for a console like that. But for 12, like you said, they have remix tracks. Yeah, well, don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure it is because I know there was an enhanced version of the battle theme. The main battle theme. I know there was an enhanced version of that. So I'm guessing there's gonna be OST remixes. Yeah. So I would say the same thing like that. I mean, it'd be ideal. I love the tracks of Final Fantasy 15. I think they're good. Birth by Sleep had a couple. I think as far as like O2. Like it was very, very subtle, not really that different, but like you could tell it's like something's different about it. Yeah. But got another question in the chat from Absis the King, kind of off topic slightly, but were there any figures that you could see / buy at E3? Oh, you actually got one. I got a figure from Natsume Games that really wasn't anything you could buy. They were just giving it away. It was a little small little Lolita figure for seeing one of their games and stuff. But as far as stuff you could buy, Capcom always has a lot of that stuff. Okay. Now for Square Enix, you would think so. But no. Wait, they had their figures on display because I saw that, but I don't think you could actually buy them. Yeah, they were just prototypes, right? Yeah. Okay, so they did that last year where they just showed everything. You couldn't buy them there, but I know Capcom you actually could, I think. Okay. And they had a lot of stuff there. They had this Rio figure that was like this big, like I don't know if I can put it in the chat, like on the camera, but it was big. They had a Mega Man and Proto Man helmet that you could wear. That you could buy. It was like $160. I was like, damn, like there's gonna be that one guy that buys it to wear it. I'm sure there is. Or more people that are gonna wear it and stuff. But like there was a lot of stuff there. But also again, Capcom usually had a lot of that stuff there. What else we got in here in the chat? We said played almost every Kingdom Hearts game. Still got a headache from I guess from playing all the games or whatnot. Yeah, I hear they're pretty difficult as well. No, not difficult. No, here's one thing I'll say. Towards the end game content, like the optional bosses, those are difficult, like really bad. But the games themselves are not that hard to get into. Okay. Now, Katie asked us about Persona 5. Now, did you see the presentation from Atlas? I didn't see it, but I wish I did. I'm interested in that game. Now, I saw it going back and forth or whatnot. Game looks great. Most of the same stuff that they showed. They showed like an actual demo, hands off on the stage of the battles and whatnot. And I guess a little bit of the roaming and whatnot. But it wasn't anything that I really kind of got a lot out of. Stuff. I want that game. That game comes out in February. I wish it was playable here. It's probably going to be playable at PlayStation Experience because it comes out in September in Japan. So it's not that far off for a lot of people out there. What I hope is nobody spoil. If you live in Japan, no spoiling Persona 5 for all of us. We will raid you, okay? But still, I think it's going to be interesting to see when that game drops or whatnot. Now, apart from the Zelda figures, of course. No, I didn't see. I saw the Zelda Meebo. The Meebo that they showed. There's 3 new Amiibo for Zelda, but you couldn't buy them there. I know they had some of the prototypes from the previous Amiibos there, and they also had the new Super Mario Amiibos, but you weren't able to buy them there. They usually, like I did my first E3, they only had like a bunch of prototypes for the Amiibo that you could see there on display, and they look really nice. Don't get me wrong. And they showed us the Amiibo compatibility with Zelda Breath of the Wild, but still, you weren't able to buy them like that. Hey, so any thoughts on was it Persona 5, Zelda? Any other E3 games you want to mention?
I did want to mention Gwent. Sorry, I didn't see any of the Persona 5 or Zelda stuff, but Gwent was another game I wanted to talk about.
That Witcher 3.
I don't know if we have any Witcher fans in here, but
if you're a Witcher fan, let me know in the chat.
Yeah, because Gwent was a game I played a lot in actual Witcher 3 because it was a mini game in there, but it kind of blew up and everybody started requesting a standalone game. So now they're finally delivering that.
Yeah.
And, you know, I actually played it. I got the chance to play it. They gave a presentation, and then I played it. And I actually beat someone. And that was a close match I had with this other
It was clutch?
It was real close. He beat me the first round. The second round...
You came out swinging. You were like...
Well, the second round I won, but he wanted me to win that round because the thing is, you gotta hold on to your best cards and play them at the exact right time.
Yeah.
So usually you have to end up giving away a round so that you could keep your cards for the round that matters, basically. Yeah. So in that second round, he was kind of toying with me. He wanted me to play my best cards, and basically, you know, in the third round, it was all set up for him to win, and he was winning. He was dominating me, but I had this special card that I was holding on to.
Oh, he went with that choke card. He didn't know what hit him.
It's called the Scorcher card, and what it does is it nullifies their most powerful cards. And because he'd set up his cards basically on one card, that one card was giving his other cards a higher score, and that's how he was beating me. So I played that card. That was the very last card I played, and that nullified his whole setup basically.
That's hilarious.
And I won. So it all came down to the last card. So that game is super intense if you're into card games and stuff like that. I'm not even into card games, and that game is just it's really addictive. So I think a lot of people should try it out. It's free to play as well. It's going to have, you know, microtransactions.
It's going to be on mobile devices, etc.
Yeah, it's going to be on everything.
Yeah.
So there's no reason not to try it out if you're into card games and stuff.
Cool. Definitely an interesting game and whatnot. Again, I'm not into Gwent like that. I know about Witcher 3, and I know about it through that game and stuff like that. They had a huge, giant artwork on the side of a skyscraper devoted just to Gwent, which I thought was funny. When we saw them actually like drawing it on there, which was cool. I don't even think they really finished it. Like at one point, like it was just kind of random.
Mad late. Like
E3
was almost finished when they finished it.
It was like, hey guys, check it out. It's like everybody's leaving. It's like stuff. It was pretty funny. But that sounds pretty dope. I mean, I still say they should have actually made a tangible card game with that. I'm surprised that has not happened yet.
Well,
unless it's out there.
People actually made their own. Like that's how big it got. People were making their own Gwent decks and everything.
Yeah.
So.
Now, I mean, but that's cool. But I still think that there should be one where everybody can buy, like official licensed merchandise of Gwent cards.
I wouldn't be surprised if they do that because when I actually went to see the game, it was in like a meeting room upstairs. They had people in cosplay. They had like a
I saw that. That was awesome.
A Geralt and Triss Merigold. They had them all in cosplay, and there was actually a Gwent table set up with real cards. Now these cards aren't for sale, but.
You wanted them even though you wanted. I can imagine.
Yeah, because they was role playing and everything, like playing Gwent on the table and stuff. So that was cool to see. Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if eventually they actually did.
They're leaving money on the table if they don't. They really are. Everybody I know that played The Witcher 3 would be into that. They would totally get that.
Yeah.
But
for sure.
Katie asked about Crash Bandicoot. So we were at the PlayStation conference. We saw it there. We got inside. Okay, we saw all that crazy PlayStation conference that was there that happened. Okay, like Microsoft had a good one. Ubisoft we didn't go to, but we saw it on stream and whatnot. Same thing with was it the PC gaming conference? I think we didn't go to that, but we definitely went to Sony conference. You know, because we like PlayStation, and that conference was dope. That Crash Bandicoot was like one of those moments, like oh snap, like this is happening. Like first off, they started with God of War, which was like, yo, what is happening? And they started off with a symphony overture throughout the start of the conference, and then they started playing God of War footage. Just like, oh, I remember I was in the audience right behind Hip Hop Gamer. My man was losing his fucking mind. Like, I swear to God, like if there was a nut button, he was like smacking on it like really hard. And that was the start of the conference. Like, what did you think about God of War though?
I mean, it looks really different to the God of War I'm used to. I saw a lot of people comparing it to Tomb Raider. That's exactly what I thought, especially when they had the
or The Last of Us. Looks very similar.
The bow and arrow and stuff. Yeah. It's really different, but I'm intrigued to learn more about it. Like, I want to know how Kratos got to that point, like, you know, where he's at now. Because obviously in God of War 3, at the end of God of War 3, everybody died. Like, everybody was dead, and Kratos killed himself. So how did it get to the point to where he now has this kid, and, you know, he's teaching him how to kill and stuff like that? And we didn't see any gods or anything, so...
We did see Norse monsters, though, like Viking stuff.
Yeah, we saw monsters, which is cool. So I really want to see where it goes from here, to be honest.
Now, according to what people were told by, you know, some of the people over there at Sony Santa Monica, they said that this is canonical. Like, this happens. This isn't another story or whatever or whatnot. Okay, yeah, they keep saying, like, you're a little bit low on the mic, so when you talk, you got to speak, like, up on the mic.
Okay.
A little bit low, so you got to be, like, all up in this, like, you know, whatnot. But basically, they did say that this happens sometime. There's time that passes after God of War 3, which makes sense, okay, because there's obviously got to be a lot of stuff that happened there for him to end up in Scandinavia, apparently, is where it's taking place in. Oh, wow. So that's pretty insane, but I thought it would look cool. I mean, very different than the previous God of War game, and I think it was good because I was listening to a podcast with Colin Moriarty, and he was saying, like, this is much more focus on character, building up Kratos as a character, because Kratos was very two-dimensional in the previous God of War games, and it was done by David Jaffe. I don't think David Jaffe, when he first made God of War, he had it in the mind of making it like The Last of Us or like Uncharted or stuff, which makes sense. I think this is a good change of pace.
Those games didn't even exist back then.
So, yeah, exactly. But you understand what I mean? Like, it was a much more direct, straightforward type of take on the character.
This is much more cinematic, like, than the previous ones.
I still think we're going to get all our kind of like points hidden there, you know, as far as when it comes to like actually, you know, God of War's like fighting, got all the crazy like, you know, rage meter stuff or whatnot. That makes a lot of sense to me and stuff. And we're going to get that as fans, but this is going to be a different take on it, which I think is going to be awesome. So the other thing, again, let's talk about Crash. Let's talk about Crash Bandicoot, which I think besides Kojima and besides God of War was probably the biggest mic drop moment, because now we're not just getting Crash Bandicoot remastered 1, 2, and 3, which 1, 2, and Warped, but we're also getting Crash and Skylanders. So what did you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, that was cool. You know, I'm not the biggest Crash fan, so I'm probably not the best person to ask about this. But Rich,
what about you, Rich?
Rich likes it.
You like that Crash Bandicoot? You like that Crash, son? Crash, okay?
I have to kneel down for this.
Uh-oh.
Let me go ahead and say this. Crash Bandicoot is okay.
All right.
But to me, Spider-Man was the mic drop.
Spider-Man was a mic drop.
Yeah.
They asked about that in the chat too.
Yeah, they asked about that in the chat. Spider-Man was... we knew about this through rumors, because they were talking about that. Insomniac Games was working on Spider-Man now. Obviously, it was juggled around or whatnot. But when we finally saw it, everybody was like flipping out and stuff. And interesting enough, new type of Spider-Man suit. Not based on the movies, not based on the Marvel Cinematic Universe version of it. This is Insomniac Spider-Man. Yeah. So, and according from what people are saying, there's going to be an original story, which is great stuff. I mean, what do you guys think about that?
I can't wait for that, because the last great Spider-Man game I played was Spider-Man 2, that movie game on PS2. Besides that, they've all been kind of meh to me. Like, I haven't really enjoyed a Spider-Man game in a long time. So I'm glad that, you know, Insomniac, they're well known for doing games like this. So I think they'll do a great job with it. Yeah.
What about you, Rich? Spider-Man.
Yeah, I mean, this pretty much what Gary said. You know, I've been waiting for a great game. Obviously, the last great superhero game, you could say any of the Batman games that came out. So Spider-Man is overdue, and it does leave hope, because I heavily doubt you will see a good Superman game anytime soon.
Oh, hell no. Superman's done. Superman, not a good game, unless it's Rocksteady, because Rocksteady knows what to do with DC superheroes, apparently, which I think it should be next. That'd be awesome. Or Telltale. Which we're gonna talk about Batman Telltale in a bit, but
yeah,
because we were just like bouncing around with with Sony stuff and whatnot, but and as far as Crash Bandicoot and Spider-Man and whatnot, but also Hideo, we talked about Hideo Kojima's game briefly and whatnot. Yeah. What did you think about Hideo Kojima's game, Death Stranding?
I thought it was a great concept. I don't necessarily think that's the finished product.
Oh, hell no. He likes whales. Yeah. Basically, he's got a lot of whales, dead whales on the beach.
Oh yeah.
With Norman Reedus.
Well, Norman Reedus, that was a good choice, because, I mean, that is one of the most popular characters on the Walking Dead TV show. So,
yeah,
that's a good choice. if I want to add a quick comment, I know you guys were talking about God of War earlier.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking forward to God of War.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested to see which direction they go in. But I must say that I still have a lot more to learn about that title. Because to me, it wasn't really the same Kratos. I didn't get the feeling it was the same Kratos.
It is. They confirmed it is.
It is.
It takes place years after God of War 3. After that ending, it happens sometime afterwards. So they said it is canonical. Like, it is legit. It's just now, I guess it's a different interpretation of it.
Okay. Well, I just hope that this Kratos is just as brutal and violent as he was in God of War 3. Because, I want to see that in this. I mean, this is a God of War game. I want to see him rip people apart. Yeah, just gratuitous violence. But, of course, now with the kid involved, I don't really know if it's going to be as violent. And that's what my concern would be.
No, I think it still is. I mean, I still got the sense that it is. I think it's going to be a little bit more character-driven than just violence-driven. Yeah. But you're still going to see Kratos lose his shit. You're going to still see him rip up monsters and people apart. He might fight Thor. I'm hoping that when they finally reveal, like, who the enemy is really like that, he's going to be fighting Thor. He's going to be fighting Odin, the Valkyries. So a lot of that stuff from Norse mythology, I think is going to be really cool when they finally, like, get into details about that or whatnot.
Here's something to think about, though. Like, what if in this game you don't even play as Kratos? What if that opening cinematic is the only time you play as Kratos, and then after that you play as the son instead?
I'd be super pissed.
Because remember, he said,
I'd be super fucking pissed.
Kratos' last words were, "Now you're ready." He said that to the kid.
Yeah, he said that.
So
but
what,
he said
that.
The kid
well, here's the thing. Here's why I know that's not true. Because one of the things also that came out when the people went in and actually were talking to some of the people at Sony Santa Monica, they said that there are mechanics devoted to that kid. So he's like your what Ellie is to Joel a little bit in The Last of Us, like that is kind of like the same type of relationship, like where he'll help you out, he'll assist in battle, he'll give you things or do different stuff while you're fighting. Throughout the course of, like, the game and whatnot. So that makes more sense to me, but I'd be really pissed if I wasn't playing as Kratos, and it's God of War.
If they did that, it would be like Metal Gear Solid 2 all over again, when they had
God. Oh, God. Only Kojima could get away with some shit like that. He could walk up to you and be like, yo, my next game is about fire-breathing whales. And it'd be Metal Gear Solid. It's like, come on, son. Make everybody believe it.
I do want to make a quick comment based off of what you just said.
Yeah.
I do believe that they're introducing that kid character for a reason, and if this is the start of a new trilogy or what have you, you will probably start playing as that kid as like the main focal point in the game after this.
Maybe.
So I could see that happening towards the end. The
Kratos getting older,
is passed to the kid for real, and then he's taking over in the future games. But we'll see. I mean, there's still a lot to learn. I don't think this game is coming out 2017.
No, it's not coming out for a while, dude. That's not coming out for a while. And plus, again, that they're not even calling it God of War 4. Like, a lot of people are referring to it as God of War 4, but the title just says God of War with that new logo. So I think it's just a total new reimagining of it, or at least, canonical afterwards. So maybe they'll get a different title, or maybe they will call it God of War 4. It would make more sense to me to do so. Because this whole thing with, like, the subtitle thing, I think is kind of played out with a lot of series. Like, if you look at Gravity Rush 2, Gravity Rush 2 was originally called Gravity Days in Japan and whatnot. But now, for the States, they're calling it Gravity Rush 2, which I think makes more sense.
Yeah.
But I digress or whatnot. So, let's talk about Batman Telltale, which we saw Batman Telltale. You saw it before us, I think, Gary, or whatnot. What did you think of Batman?
Oh, I thought it was excellent. There's definitely much more action in this, because in Telltale games, they're heavily focused on storytelling, and the action kind of suffers. Like, specifically in the Walking Dead games and Game of Thrones, like, the action sequences aren't all that exciting to play. But in this, it seemed actually exciting to play as Batman in those action sequences and stuff. There's a lot of QTE there, of course, but it still looks really good, really rewarding. And what I like as well is that this game is going to be 50-50 between Batman and Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
So you get to play a lot of Bruce Wayne too, and you get to do a lot of politicking and talking to the other characters and stuff, which is really good. And they also mentioned that there'll be, throughout the 5 episodes, there's going to be parts where you have to decide whether you approach a situation as Batman or Bruce Wayne.
Which I think is great, because that's exactly what Bruce would do. And it's going to change up the game a lot. Yeah. Which is going to be really, really cool. I mean...
Yeah, and depending on what decision you make, there'll be different outcomes and consequences.
Now, from what we saw when I went with you, Rich, to the actual presentation, There was a lot of stuff in there that is, nods to other Batman versions, Batman interpretations. Like, again, Alfred looks very similar to like his 1967 version, with the salt and pepper hair and just like, I get not really a mustache, but like, that type of presentation. Not like the ones we've seen of late and such. And like a couple other things too. Again, his suit, Batman's suit looks like, again, interpretation of the Nolan version, to some extent. I will say that I'm interested to see where they go with it as far as like when they start implementing the vehicles, like the Batmobile, the Batplane, the Batboat, whatever else. If they will have that in there, if you have the opportunity to use that, or if about how dynamic the story changes depending on what you do as Bruce Wayne or Batman. Can you play it all as Bruce Wayne? Can you play it all as Batman? Are there going to be sections where you have to be Bruce Wayne or you have to be Batman specifically like that? Or like multiple endings, will it be a sense of a good or bad ending like that? There's a lot of, things that kind of like pop into my head about this game, and it looks interesting. Again, we also, in the demo you were telling us about before, during the demo, there's other DC villains or other Batman villains that show up. And one of the ones that I saw that I noticed when I was looking around after you told me was the Penguin, which was the Gothamized version, from the series Gotham, guys, if you know what I'm talking about, of the Penguin, Oswald Cobblepot, because he says Oz when he's drinking there, and then they never come back to it again. They just like totally turn away. Like, what do you think?
So yeah, you caught it because in my demo, they didn't tell us that ahead of time. So I was completely focused on the dialogue that was going on between the characters and stuff. I wasn't really looking in the background because it was so captivating, the dialogue that was going on. But after the demo, he actually mentioned that if you was paying attention, there was other characters in the background that are going to appear throughout the series and stuff. But I guess you caught it. So
that's the only one that I noticed there, because the rest of the other people were kind of generic.
Yeah.
They were just like, I don't know if they were really copy and paste, but they did not look like, characters that you would pick out like that. I mean, Selena Kyle was in it as Catwoman, as again in the regular Batman section when you're actually seeing action happen, which I thought was great. Yeah. It's still early. Granted, they said it's coming out all completely by the end of this year, but still, there's still time to clean it up. And now, in our demos, all of our, I think yours too. That
not
game,
in mine.
Not in yours? Okay, I know that a couple of the other people said in theirs that Chris's demo and a few other people that I saw, they said that it was buggy. Where it actually crashed on them. I would say crashed in the beginning. Yeah. Then we saw the beginning section, like up to the point where he first starts fighting the guy, starts up immediately right there. And we saw that twice before we got to everything else. So, it was cool because I was looking for anything that I might pick out or whatnot. So it was really good, though. I mean, what did you think, Rich, overall?
Yeah, I think it's great. When we went into the presentation, they alluded to the fact that this is the most action-oriented Telltale game they've ever created. I would have to agree 100% based off of just the demo that I saw. Because, you're doing a lot. The combat, Batman does have a brief encounter with Catwoman. He also beats up some bad guys. So that was pretty intense and exciting to see. There's a lot of different possibilities when you play as either Bruce Wayne or Batman, so I'm looking forward to that. With that said, I do not believe that this game will come out in its entirety.
I bet you it gets delayed.
Yeah. I mean, again, with the technical issue, and what made this particularly disturbing is that during our presentation, WB was actually in the room watching the same presentation.
I remember when he mentioned that, he was like, man, that's got to be the most awkward, position to be in at that point like that. But it wasn't too bad. They got it up and running, and everybody loved the presentation.
The presentation was great.
It was great. But, those are little things that they got to iron out here and there. Now, according to some people that went to that presentation earlier before all of us, they said that was another newer version of the game because they had one prior to it, and then they got a second one at the start of E3, which is cool, which is fine. Why not? Hopefully, none of those bugs happen to me when it plays on my PlayStation 4. None of that, or our Xbox Ones, it does not happen or whatnot. So, either way, any other final games or thoughts you guys want to mention that were cool or bad or whatnot, stuff that you think that everybody should look forward to? You want to say, Gary? You good?
I'll just mention two games real quick. Mafia 3. This is a game that I did check out. It actually was front and center at as soon as you walk into the convention center. So they obviously wanted everybody to see this. They had a live performance going on throughout the whole thing because it's set in New Orleans.
Yeah.
So they had a live band performing throughout the day. But when I checked out the presentation, I mean the game is very, very much. It takes most of what it does from the Grand Theft Auto engine. You know, it's the same. You know, the city setting. The city is massive.
Yeah.
Different territories that you can go into. And you know, the gameplay that they showed, a video that I believe everybody has seen because it's already out there. It just shows the character, you know, going after a boss. You know, you're going to navigate through different areas. The game looks great. You know, don't get me wrong. There was a few things that I think some people did not like with the particular stealth element because I saw the character walking through an area where there were clearly a whole bunch of guys. You know, you would think somebody would have saw something or heard something, and he was just picking them off one by one. Then when he started using the gun, they're like, oh, wait a minute. Somebody's trying to infiltrate us. So then all of a sudden they came out of the woodwork. So a little bit of that stuff, you know, I'll see how that turns out in the final product. Whether or not the AI is a little bit more snappy and quick to do stuff. Aside from that, though, one of the things I like about the game is that there are 3 underbosses in the game, and these are guys who team up with you. It's a female and 2 males. They all own different. They're from different families, and they all have a major gripe with the main villain of all of this. One thing I did like about this is that they did show that, you know, once you gain a territory, you have to pretty much make a decision as to who you want to take over that territory.
Yeah.
And if you give too much control over to one person that is in your group over another, that other person may turn on you. So that plays up with the whole thing of, you know, corrupt and power, and then how people, they want to feel like they deserve a bigger piece of the pie, so they decide to take action. And that adds a whole new element to it, because all this is based on decisions. And the game changes based on how you do most of this stuff. So I think that's probably the best thing about it. Other than that, it's just your typical third-person shooter where it has a little bit of a story element, and that's pretty much it. But I personally thought it was great. I'm looking forward to it. A lot of people may not like it. I'm looking forward to it, though.
Nice.
And the final game that I will say is that I did play.
Yeah.
A game that Gary, he loves this game. You know, he told me in confidence after I was done, man, I can't wait for this game to come out. It's this game called Steep.
Steep.
Yeah, you know, for
the
those,
Ubisoft snowboarding game. You guys don't know what I'm talking about.
For those of you that saw the presentation, you've seen this game. The game is, man, how can I say this nicely? The game is, I guess it's okay for somebody who likes those type of games. You know, you can do snowboarding, you can do skiing, you can do, you know, all these different things that you want to do. It's not really quite as exciting or engaging as, you know, say a game series that came out a long time ago, SSX. It's nothing like that at all. And you should know that before you even go into this.
Yeah.
If you're even remotely interested in it.
It's not arcade, it's more sim.
Yeah, it's more simulation. There's a lot to explore, a lot to do. But for the most part, it's not really, you know, I don't really know when this game launches, if it's going to launch as a retail price game. I personally don't think it's a game that should be $60. That's just my opinion. The game is fun for its particular audience. I'm clearly not the audience, though. That's what I did learn. So, as I said earlier, of all the Ubisoft games that I saw, I did not get to see Ghost Recon because
me neither.
That was about a 3-4 hour wait just for people to get in there.
Was not gonna happen. Clearly,
no.
I heard it was good though. I heard Ghost Recon was pretty dope.
Yeah, it's pretty good. But again, like I said earlier, I think South Park was the best thing they showed. I know Gary played For Honor. He probably thought that was excellent. I know he played Trash Dogs. He thought that was excellent.
Katie was asking us if any of us played Forza. I saw Forza. I didn't play Forza Horizon 3.
Yeah, Forza was like another one where the wait was
ridiculous.
About 3 or 4 hours.
It was insane.
And the thing is that I had appointments to see some stuff. I did see Halo Wars 2. That game is just like, it's a regular RTS. You know, they're trying to make it more accessible for those who are not into RTSs.
Yeah.
I thought it was okay, but not necessarily like, I really am still not someone who I'm going to pick this up on day one. I thought it was okay for what it was.
Yeah.
But Forza looked great. I mean, it looked a lot like the last Forza game, just that it's a different setting. It's all in Australia now, and you can use different vehicles, so on and so forth, and different terrain to cover. But the game looked, I mean, if you enjoyed Forza Horizon 2, you're probably going to pick this up, and you probably should pick it up, because Forza Horizon 2, I will tell you right now, that was probably the best game so far, the best Forza game that I have played so far this generation. So my hope is that 3 is actually going to also be just as good.
Oh, you think VR? Forza in VR one day?
Maybe? Oh yeah, that's a possibility.
Because again, with all the other VR devices, I feel like driving games would be kind of cool in VR. Especially I'm surprised Gran Turismo Sport wasn't kind of like talked about being compatible with PlayStation VR.
That definitely should have been spoken of. Mm-hmm. Another game that should have been spoken of. Well, where was No Man's Sky?
Yeah, No Man's Sky, and I think that was for their benefit. Not talking about No Man's Sky because everybody was high on emotion after all this stuff with the delay. I think it was smart of them not to talk about it, get everybody riled up again or whatnot. So, and also I think that also maybe I'm surprised that hasn't been talked about with PlayStation VR. That'd be a cool game to have in PSVR, especially on launch for PSVR.
Yeah,
that'd be an awesome PSX announcement. I'll tell you right now. Like the game comes out soon, somewhat.
Well, that's the thing, though. I can understand not having showing the game at the conference, but it should have been playable at some point during the actual show. I didn't see it anywhere on the floor.
Me neither. I didn't see it at all.
And considering the game is supposed to come out in August, I would think you would want some people to give impressions about what they've played thus far. So I don't know what to think about the game. I know the people at Hello Games. Sean Murray is a great guy, cool guy. So I'm hoping that the game turns out great and gets a good reception. We'll just have to wait and see.
That's cool. I mean, good points. Good points all around. I mean, a couple final games I can mention that I played. I played Res VR. It's like one of the other times I got hands-on time with a true PlayStation VR title, which outside of like Thumper, because I played Thumper in VR at PAX East, and that, to me, that's not a real VR game. It really wasn't that much to do with it. Res VR was a little bit more so, and I still don't think it was a definitive VR experience. I feel like a lot of the games that were VR experiences that were like legit ones, like Resident Evil 7, Arkham Knight VR, or any of the other ones that were there. Riggs was playable again. I've been to like a couple events. I missed Riggs every single time. There was no way for me to play it, with all the people and stuff. But I feel like again, it was okay. It was dope. King of Fighters 14, play that again. Still think it's all right. Still not as good as what like Street Fighter 5 is. Looks like Maximum Impact to me is fine. I did get to play Bound. Bound is a real trippy game on PlayStation 4. I think it's also on PlayStation Vita, if I'm not mistaken. It's really stylized. You're playing as this young girl who looks like she's in a ballet, but it has to deal with she's like a princess of a queen, and like all these monsters are coming into the queen's kingdom, starting to mess stuff up and things like that. And it looks pretty cool. Final game, I guess I could say. Oh, Neo. We're gonna talk about Neo. We played Neo with Tecmo Koei, and that was interesting. Again, you could put Onimusha on the top of it, and I would believe it's Onimusha because it looks like it plays very similar to Bloodborne, plays very similar to Dark Souls. Again, if you like that style of game, you're gonna love that as well. I played the Attack on Titan game. I didn't think it was all that great. I thought that it had some issues, very rinse and repeat and repetitive, and was really kind of meh. For that matter, me and Gary, we went to Bandai Namco's showcase and we got to check out some games. What did you think of Dragon Ball Z Xenoverse 2? Because we saw a presentation for that.
Yeah, I have to say, as a huge Dragon Ball Z fan and a big fan of Xenoverse, the first game, I'm disappointed by this because it literally looks like the same game recycled again.
Copy and paste.
The only thing is, this time around, you get to go to like different cities and planets and stuff to connect with other players. And you can, like you said, you could also fly around and stuff like that too. So I guess the social aspect in this game is going to be much better than the previous game. But as far as the story and the actual gameplay and everything is pretty much the same. Like, I don't see anything that they really changed. Except perhaps like the visuals, like they said the visuals are a bit more enhanced. They did a lot of like new shading stuff and coloring stuff, which is cool. But we need more than that for a sequel. So
true, good point. Now, also we played Tekken 7, or at least we saw Tekken 7. You didn't get to play it.
Yeah,
I played it again.
I didn't get to play it, but it looks really good though.
Yeah,
I'm definitely gonna buy that.
It plays good, looks good. I mean, can't wait to play it when it finally does come out next year, 2017, on consoles. We had one person, Abscess the King, asked about Titanfall 2, playable at E3. Yep, and we didn't get to play it. Why? Because EA didn't let us play it.
Well, yeah, it wasn't at E3. It was at the EA Play event.
EA Play event. I tried to go, guys. I tried to go and play Battlefield 1. Tried to go and play Titanfall 2. Was not happening because EA did not help us out. So that was that. And again, we'll talk about that again another time or whatnot because we mentioned it earlier in the show. Also, I played again Sword Art Online Hollow Realization. Again, same build as I played last time. Phoenix Wright was at the Capcom booth. Yeah. Phoenix Wright, it was the next. Spirit of Justice? Monster Hunter was also playable at the Capcom booth. Same demo, which I played at PAX East. Same exact thing. Phoenix Wright looks pretty cool. Again, I didn't spend a lot of time with it because I feel like in that type of game, you have to be alone, away from all that stuff, and really experience that because it's all story driven. Mm-hmm. Same type of game. If you love that, if you love that style of game from the Phoenix Wright series, you're gonna love this one more than likely. A couple of the games that I saw there was a couple others. One game I did not see that I think was there that people saw. Ukulele. I wanted to play Ukulele so bad, and I think it was there that people played it, and I did not see it around. That sucks because I'm really interested in Ukulele, and I think a lot of other people are too. Yeah. So checking that game out, and I think really that's about it. Oh, Last Guardian. Last Guardian was playable behind closed doors.
Gary's favorite game.
Gary, any comments?
No, I didn't actually play it or anything, but I saw that it was actually there. Mm-hmm. But me, I mean, I'm not excited for the game that much. I think I need to go back and play Shadow of Colossus and Ico. Yeah, I need to go back and play those games, and then maybe I'll feel a bit differently about The Last Guardian. But it's cool that we got a release date for it, though. I'll say that.
I agree. It's good that we finally got a release date for it. Some people said that it's all right. It's a little bit buggy here and there, but again, demo builds. Still got a couple months left to iron everything out, it sounds like. Horizon was playable. We didn't get to play it, and we still think that the game looks dope, and I wish we got hands-on time with it. But either way, that's going to end off our post-E3 2016 thoughts. Any other final thoughts that you guys have for the chat? Anything you guys want to say?
One last game, Star Ocean. I did play that, and gameplay wise, it seems really, really, really good. But the only thing is, playing it at E3 wasn't a good thing to do because I had no context of what was going on in the game. I didn't understand any of the story elements, and it's hard to it's hard to really get all that context when you're playing it at a show. So that's the only thing. But I know for certain that I'm gonna buy it based on what I played.
Nice. Any other final thoughts, Rich, before we end off?
Yeah.
Oh, Project Scorpio. They asked us about Project Scorpio. What did you guys think of that during the Microsoft conference?
Oh, yeah, that's an excellent question.
Yeah, I'm surprised we missed over that. Yeah, Project Scorpio and Xbox One S. We saw the Xbox One S. It was in a display case.
Yeah, we saw that.
But what do you guys think about Project Scorpio?
Well, I know Gary has something to say. I'm going to say something first. I don't necessarily think that was a wise decision to announce one console at the beginning of the show and then another console at the end of the show.
Yeah, that was kind of stupid.
Because now you have people that are going to be holding out to get the Project Scorpio when it comes out next year, and that may hurt the sales of the Slim. With that said, I personally was looking forward to getting a Slim. Now I find myself in a position, well, I don't know if I should even bother with that now. Because of that. Now, I'm glad that Microsoft made the announcement that they were going to do something about the Xbox One. It's clear the Xbox One is not really selling as good as they wanted it to. Still has the bad reputation because of the messaging and the way the system launched, which is why they had to come out with another one. So I understand all that logic. But, with the fact that they want to do 4K, and I keep hearing how expensive that the 4K, all of this technology is. I don't know what direction Microsoft is heading in with this type of stuff. So we'll see. Am I excited for Project Scorpio? I would say, I'm going to wait and see what they show next year because I'm pretty sure that they will have a lot to show next year in terms of, because they have to sell people on the device next E3. This year they just mentioned it. I'm glad that they said they were listening to fans, listening to consumers. That's good. Good point, yeah. But again, we just have to find out more information about it. As for the games that they showed at their conference,
they're all going to be on Scorpio apparently. I mean, they're all going to be on all three major platforms, which is Windows 10, Xbox One S, and Xbox Project Scorpio, whatever it is, like that. Because it's obviously not going to be called Project Scorpio, but it'll be called something different by the time we see it again. Thank you.